think this is a 14-mile straight through. You can run it either direction. Obviously, there's plenty of room. And I'm hoping there's a few more, you know, obstacles that are a little bit technical. But all in all, this isn't bad. Makes for a nice, easy Sunday afternoon. On our way to Talladega Forest Service Road 600-1 or County Road 600-1. Had a free Sunday. Wife and kids are out of town. Got the Jeep cleaned up, and now I need to get it dirty again. I don't know how dirty we're getting it, but been wanting to do 600-1 and 600-2 for a while. Couldn't get anybody to come out here with me today, so I'm flying solo. But hopefully it'll be fun. Should be very difficult, but just a nice road to get off-road and enjoy a beautiful day here in these United States of America in the state of Alabama. Oh, no.
You arrived.
All right, here we are. And looks like it's not going to be too bad. Nice little start, but going to stop, air down now, and get ready to go. All right, here we go. Talladega 600-1. Going to get the top open, windows down, and see if we can enjoy this ride. Had a nice day yesterday. Went to the 5th annual Jeep Jam at Harley-Davidson Atlanta in Lithia Springs. That's a nice little show. Went there last year with just the intention of looking at other Jeeps. Took my 5-year-old with me and had a nice time looking at the Jeeps. Had a little lunch while we were there. Nice barbecue place just in the other parking lot. Was getting ready to leave, and as we were leaving, we were going by the entrance to where the Jeeps entered to be in the show, and a guy started flagging me over, and there just happened to be a spot under a big shade tree. Of course, it was, you know, middle of July and hot, as it was this year, and it's like, hey, if we can be under a tree, let's go ahead and do this. You know, certainly wasn't going to win anything, but it's just a good time if you're a Jeeper, or if you just like Jeeps. That Jeep Jam at Harley-Davidson Atlanta is a nice little show to go to. They've got a live DJ, they've got a food truck. Obviously, the Harley dealership has plenty of motorcycles to look at while you're there if you're into riding in Harley-Davidsons. But just had a nice time and talking to other Jeepers, looking at other Jeeps, and seeing what's out there. That last year was at that show was the first time I saw a 4xe, and I was talking to the owner and asked him if he was going to take it off-road. He's like, oh no, it's too expensive to take off-road. And HERETIC is a 2021 JLUR Rubicon, well, JLUR Rubicon implied, eco diesel. I mean, it's one of the more expensive ones until you get into the 4xe or the 392. And you know, I bought it to take off-road. That was the whole reason of getting this Jeep and getting it set up the way it is to take it off-road. But to each their own. If you just want to have a Jeep, like the look, like being able to have the top down and just take it to the mall, all the power to you. But my Jeep is to take off-road, and that's what I like to do, and that is what I do with it. Almost all the trails I end up going on, I go solo, because I just, you know, can't find anybody else to go with. And it always seems with the group rides with Georgia Trail Riders or Georgia Jeep Alliance or Black Bear Off-Road, they're always going a day earlier than what I can do. Georgia Jeep Alliance actually did this trail 600-1 and 600-2 yesterday, but I wanted to go to that Jeep show because I knew I'd be able to go out and do something today. Wasn't sure where I was going to go, but thought about going back up to Beasley Knob. Thought about doing some smaller, easier trails north of me, but I decided to do something I hadn't done before, and seeing that Georgia Jeep Alliance was out here yesterday, that kind of pushed me to come on out here. It's about a 2-hour drive from where I live. Almost, I think the closest trails I have are about an hour and a half away, and then there's just a ton within 2 hours. Stony Lonesome's about another 45 minutes past this. Windrock is about 3 hours, not quite, somewhere around there from where I live. So got very fortunate to have a lot of options. And of course, you can get up into South Carolina and North Carolina, and just a ton of different trails in the mountains of North Georgia. So very, very fortunate to live where I do, and enjoy jeeping, because there's a lot of opportunities. I think this is a 14-mile straight through. You can run it either direction. Obviously, there's plenty of room, and I'm hoping there's a few more, obstacles that are a little bit technical. But all in all, this isn't bad. Makes for a nice, easy Sunday afternoon. Put the top back, close the top. I have the Power One Touch, Sky Touch, or whatever it's called, the Sky Top. I like it. I do miss not being able to go full naked with the soft top, or even taking the hard top off. I had a 12 Sahara that had both tops and enjoyed those, but with young kids who were finicky about the wind and the weather, I was always having to pull off to the side of the road, either put the Freedom panels back on or put the soft top back, close the soft top. It was really just a PETA. And this Jeep, I bought it off the lot. I didn't order it, so it came with what it came with, and it happened to have the Sky One Touch. And I tell you, for having a family, it is great, because if the kids start complaining, once they get you past that point that you can't take it anymore, you just hit a button and it's closed. So you do lose the ability to go totally naked. The rear quarter windows do come out, but it does save a lot of hassle. And honestly, on the trails, it's nice too. If you get in the mountains where the weather's changing, you can just close it up if it starts raining, or if it gets cold, or the sun just starts beating down on you, because I'm not sure you can put a sunscreen on this Sky One Touch. And it's also nice if you're going through a mud hole or something and you don't want to get mud in the, just flying down in you in the Jeep. You want to get a little aggressive going through it, you can just close the top. You don't have to worry about it. Washboard rocks here. Slow down a little bit. This would probably be a really fun trail on a motorcycle. The Jeep is dirty again. Guess we'll have to wash it again. When I washed it Friday night, getting ready for the Jeep show, I finally got some more Hydro Silex in, ceramic coating. That's an off-road blend, and I've used that before. It works really well. It goes on really easy. you know, if you put a good layer on, it does recommend 2 to 3 coats. I put 1 coat on because I also wash the Jeep with Armor All ceramic car wash. But you get that on there, you go through mud puddles like that, it just really runs right off the paint, so that's kind of nice. Somebody else out enjoying the trail today. So far, this would be a great trail for any stock Jeep. I mean, any stock Jeep whatsoever. You know, from just a bare bones sport with regular street tires, no lift. So far, you'd be fine doing this trail, and we still would not even need to be in 4-wheel drive for what we've seen so far. See, there's an offshoot there. Let's see where that goes. Oh, that's... Yeah, might as well. Ooh. Lower over this. Still nothing a stock Jeep could do in 2-wheel drive right here. A little bit of a decline. I'm actually riding the brakes a little bit in first gear. Looks like we're coming up on a intersection here, and well, maybe technically, but I don't know if that was supposed to be it. I doubt it. Went to a Jeep Jamboree a little over a month ago. It was Land Between the Lakes, and most of the trails were at Turkey Bay OHV, and had just a knock coming from the rear end when I would either start from a stop or a lot of times going over obstacles, and couldn't really figure out what it was. Ended up what we thought it was is had a Rancho rear track bar, adjustable rear track bar. The nut had come loose, so we tightened that up. It did not seem, it did, well, it's not that it didn't seem, it did not take away the knock. And I'd finally had enough of it when I ordered that Rancho adjustable rear track bar. The Yeti adjustable rear track bar had not yet come out for the JL and JT. since then it has come out, and that finally pushed me over the edge to go ahead and order it. Put that on, and magically the knock went away. Have not heard it since. The Rancho, I guess, is a decent budget track bar, but you actually have to disconnect it to adjust it, as opposed to the Yeti, where you can adjust it while it's connected. The Rancho, I think that lock nut requires 180 foot-pounds of torque, which, one, you need an open-end wrench to do it. So trying to judge that and trying to get 180 foot-pounds while you're underneath there, if you don't have a lift to get it up, is almost impossible, as opposed to the nuts on the clamp on the Yeti, which I could be wrong, but I think it was like 40 foot-pounds of torque, which is easy to do, and you can use a traditional torque wrench to do it. So if you're looking at adjustable track bars for the rear, or the front for that matter, I highly recommend the Yeti. I've got all Yeti up front steering. I've got the Yeti aluminum tie rod, the Griffin drag link, and the adjustable track bar, and they have been awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now, I will tell you this: if you're interested in the Yeti drag link and you want the Griffin drag link with the compensator in there, you are going to have a lift. It is not going to work with all the other Yeti stuff on there and a relocated steering stabilizer. That's kind of what got me without a lift. I put that on the week before I got the lift and actually tore a hole in the boot and had to replace the boot on the drag link. So just keep that in mind as you're doing things. Get the lift before you put on that Griffin drag link from Yeti. Well, from Steer Smarts Yeti. I'm glad that entry was kind of chewed up the way it was, or I might not have aired down the tires. This would be a really bumpy ride had I not aired down the tires. We would have had to have stopped and done it by now had I not done it at the trailhead. I really like the manual shift on the automatic transmissions in the Jeeps. You can upshift to get the engine to work a little bit easier, and then as you slow down, it will automatically downshift for you when you get too slow down for the gear that you selected. So it's really nice. Helps save a little bit of fuel economy by getting up into a higher gear than what the transmission would do for you as you're just riding on the trail. So my family will come jeeping with me. My wife cannot stand the drop-offs on mountain trails. It just scares her to death. For some reason, she thinks that somehow I'd allow myself to die. So she thinks it might happen. I don't know why. The kids aren't quite as amazed unless we get some really just spectacular views. Their litmus test for whether or not they really want to go out jeeping is whether or not we're going to go through water, and will they be able to get out and play in the water a little bit. So if I'm going to take the family out, pretty much got to make sure that there's some decent water crossings that we can stop at and let the kids wade in, throw some rocks, get out, enjoy that, throw the baseball, throw the football. They're just not at the point where they can enjoy off-roading for off-roading's sake. They do appreciate some of the views we get to see. That's something I really enjoy. is watching them enjoy some of the scenery and taking it in, although I think they just have a little disconnect as to what it takes to get to that scenery. That, okay, we gotta go off-road for 45 minutes, and might not be that exciting while we're off-roading, but when we get to that point, it's going to be worth the effort. So Thursday I had a couple projects on the Jeep. In the morning, I put in the AFE power charge pipes for the EcoDiesel. I had put in the cold air intake a good while back. I ordered the cold air intake and the charge pipes, I think, in November, and I got the cold air intake. Ooh, it was spring. It might have been February, March. I can't remember really, but got it in, and oh, did it make a difference? Oh, nice little water crossing. Ooh, that smelled good. But put that in, really made a difference. The engine's running about 3 degrees cooler on average than it did, and it's just a great sound when that turbo's sucking that air through there. Did increase the power. I've never dyno tested this, so I can't say it met or exceeded what AFE power claims, but with just that cold air intake, I did pull a 7920 to 60 using the taser to gauge that, so that was pretty good. Now it's in combination with my Banks Power Pedal Monster and Derringer, with the settings all the way up on track into 6 on the Derringer. But the charge pipes didn't come until about a month ago, and I finally had a chance to put them on in the morning, and then took a little break, spent some time with the family, got in the pool, and then in the afternoon I'd had the Apex steering boost kit sitting around forever. And before this last production run, the cooler got mounted behind your bumper and winch, and I have the OEM steel bumper with a Warren Xeon 12S Platinum, and that's a big winch. It's huge, and it takes up a lot of room, and it's almost impossible to get the nuts back on to secure the fender to the frame. I actually had to get a thin wall 18mm socket, and then had to grind it down to actually get it in there to finish installing the bumper on the driver's side upper bolt. And I had it sitting around and was looking to order a new front bumper that would be easier to get on and off. I've got the LOD Destroyer rear bumper, and really like their front bumper, and was really just kind of waiting for it to go on sale. I was hoping they'd have a Memorial Day sale and take 10% off, so I could get that, and then take the OEM bumper off, put that on, sell it, and we'd be good to go. And in between ordering it, I found out, or I opened up the box just to see the contents, and found out they changed the design. Let me get that bug off the windshield. They changed the design, and the cooler no longer goes directly behind the bumper. The cross member, the front cross member, where the power steering high pressure line goes, the clips get taken off, and you actually mount the cooler on the back side of that cross member, and then the high pressure line goes in front of the cooler. So I didn't need to remove the bumper to do it. So I had time. I'm like, okay, let me tackle this project, and got it in. And oh my God, if you are running a JL or JT with big tires, it is the way to go. I think it's under $400. You can put it in about, I don't know, 3 hours. It took me a little bit longer just because I didn't have a small tube cutter like I thought I did have. I do have one somewhere. I have no idea what I did with it unless it broke and I tossed it and didn't replace it. I haven't had a need to cut tubing recently. Had plenty of bigger ones. So it was a little bit of a rigmarole to get in there and cut the low pressure line and get it out. And then I had to screw around trying to get the steering pump turned so I could get all those components back in. Ended up having to take the hot pipe from the turbo to the cooler out again to get it the high pressure side. But it works, and I think it is a little bit easier than doing it on the gas models because you only have to take the hot air pipe out. You don't have to move an air box in the EcoDiesel. So I got that in, got it all set it right around between 17 and 1800 psi, which is 400 to 500 psi above factory. And I tell you, it's just sitting stopped. You can turn the wheel, tires move, and it's like you're on ice turning it. It's amazing. I don't think we're gonna have any obstacles here that really test out that steering with deflated tires, but I mean, so far, just going through what we've had, I mean, it's just almost no effort to turn the wheels, aired down and going over some of these very minor obstacles. So I highly recommend the Apex steering boost kit for your JL or JT. There is no PSC option for the diesel right now, so I didn't have that as an option. But you know, if you're keeping it under 40-inch tires, I think this Apex boost kit is really the way to go, because it's for $400 in 3-4 hours of labor. And if you're mechanically inclined at all and you have the right tools, and they're not specialty tools, they're tools anybody who works on their own stuff should have, it's a way to go, man. It is just awesome. If everything goes right, I'll be out back in Moab in September. And last year I did have the steering pump overheat a couple times and had to sit and let it rest, which is really kind of what pushed me into this. Knew I needed a cooler, and then found the boost kit and thought, oh man, that's great, that solves both problems. So really looking forward to testing it out on some decent obstacles. Oh, here's a nice little drop off. Boy, if you're going too fast on this road and come on that, you're gonna have a bad day. Because I have a couple times run into down trees where I've either had to turn around or spend some time with a handsaw getting them going, or use the winch to drag it out of the way. But I would like to get that DeWalt cordless chainsaw. I think that would make quick work of almost anything that I would run into. Plus, I've already got a ton of DeWalt cordless power tools. So I've got the batteries, got the chargers. Speaking of axes, I will plug one thing here. Hardcore Hammers. I'm working with Hardcore Hammers on a project for a national championship, and they've been absolutely awesome. And the way I got introduced to them, I was actually just looking for a hatchet to keep inside the Jeep for camping and, you know, small jobs, you know, little things I might have to chop up to get out of the way on the trail. And I've got HERETIC is a white Rubicon, so the trim accents are Rubicon red. And they just happen to have a nice little hatchet with a red handle, and I mean, just really great quality stuff. Ordered that up, so I got on their list, and our company, Georgia Brass, and if you're wondering what Georgia Brass is, we provide spent shell casings for sale to the public and wholesale to ammunition manufacturers. our bread and butter is fully processed brass, so you buy it and it's completely processed and clean, ready to load. And we're sponsoring the International Defensive Pistol Association National Championship in Grand Junction, Colorado again this year, and we're supplying the staff gift. So I got with them to see if they might want to work together to do that, and I mean, all the planets aligned, and it came out awesome. The staff is going to get some just amazing gifts due to the work of Hardcore Hammers and Purple Heart Homes for Veterans. The three of us have come together to try sponsor, I guess would be the word. Oh, there's a beautiful view. We're gonna have to get a shot of that real quick. Okay, so here's that view. Look at that. Is that amazing or what? Boy, that might be worth a trip in the fall just to see that with the changing colors. Oh my goodness, that is just absolutely beautiful. Anyway, so if you're in the market for a hatchet or an axe for your toolkit for off-roading or camping, definitely hit up Hardcore Hammers. They are a phenomenal group of people. They have a phenomenal product. They believe in giving back, which is why they're working with Purple Heart Homes for Veterans, and you will not be disappointed if you give your business to Hardcore Hammers. And Blade Show West is coming up, so if you're on the West Coast and are going to Blade Show West, I imagine that they will be there. They were at Blade Show here in Atlanta. That's actually the first time I got to meet those guys in person, so that was awesome after talking to them on the phone as much as we did to get this project in the works. But head out there, see their table, and spend some money with them, because you'll be very happy, and you'll be supporting an awesome business. Take the high road. Some people just like to run right in those ruts for some reason. I'm not one of them. Optional obstacles, yes, I like taking those, but on just rutted roads, I just don't see the point in choosing to make the ride harder than it has to be. You know, there's no technical skill involved in that. It's just bouncing your suspension around, bouncing the Jeep around. Talked a little bit about the Taser before, using that to clock a 0 to 60 run. There's a Jeep up ahead. Looks like he's going a little bit slower than I am. That's all right. But anyway, if you've got a JL, Taser is the way to go, man. If you're off-roading, I mean, or changing tire sizes, or changing gears, or switching from halogen to LED lights. The Taser does so much. It is a little pricey, but oh my goodness, it reads codes for you, can clear codes for you. You know, it's good to go. I got the front trail cam with the Taser, and I actually put in a second cam. I took a license plate mounted rear view camera and put it on the license plate mount up front, and have it angled straight down, so when I'm doing inclines or going into a decline, I can actually see what's there. And I just took that up to an RCA 2-to-1 switch, so I can just turn the license plate camera on. I've got that power hooked up to one of my aux switches, and I can turn the power on, flip the switch, and change my view. So that was really helpful in Moab, really super helpful in Moab. Well, this Jeep doesn't even have a plate yet. They picked a good trail to go on for such a new one. I think I told you guys a completely stock Jeep could do this. I don't know if they're in four-wheel drive or not. You certainly don't need to be. But they just got that Jeep. Doesn't even have a plate on it. And here they are taking it off-road. So many kudos to them. Bought the Jeep for the right reason, in my opinion. I mean, it's your money. Buy a Jeep for any reason you want to, and that's good for you. You don't need anybody else's approval. Wouldn't mind getting to a stopping point and talking to them. Might be another good view to the left out there. Definitely gonna have to come back here in the fall with the family, because I think, I mean, just that one view. You know, life's about experiences, and the more experiences you give yourself, you give your kids, I think the better off everybody's gonna be. You can buy things, but you can buy memories too, and those memories will last a lifetime. Those things generally don't last a lifetime. I talked about it earlier with the Sky One Touch. They've got the soft top on there completely off. Yeah, that just, I gotta admit, I'm a little jealous. It's a nice day for that. Might even, I closed my top because the sun was beating down on me, but we've got so many trees now. I think I'm gonna open it back up. Some of this dust off my windshield. I just noticed that's a JK. Really wasn't paying attention, but just noticed that tailgate handle. Boy, they're really avoiding everything. I probably would too if it was brand new to me. I may have to just pull over here and take a little break, let them get a little bit further ahead of me, because 8 miles per hour on a road like this is just a little bit too slow for Uncle Dano. It's amazing the difference in ride quality going over just little dips like that with a 37-inch tire versus a 31 or a 33. 37s just roll through those because of the much larger circumference of the tire. It's, you know it's there, but it's not very noticeable as opposed to a 31-inch or even smaller tire. That's a fairly good bump, and if I was in that Jeep, I'd probably want to avoid it too, due to that fact. I met a guy at the Jeep show yesterday. I don't know if it was his girlfriend or his wife, I can't remember what he said, but he had just picked her up a used JK, and in a month had done a lot of work to it, had takeoff Rubicon wheels on there. Oh, they're pulling over for me. And they take off Rubicon wheels on there, and he had the wheels powder coated seafoam green, the fenders done seafoam green, the rock rails, steps. She ended up winning most unique paint job, so that was kind of cool. But he was in his mid-20s, and he said he was on his 32nd Jeep. Between Jeeps and Gladiators, Wranglers and Gladiators, anyway. And the vehicle he had there was a Gladiator with a Scrambler paint job. It was awesome. But I couldn't believe it. The guy has owned more Jeep vehicles than years he's been alive. And asked him what his job was. He says he moved semi-tractor trailers in a yard. And we have to look into doing that. If you can afford, if you can make that kind of stuff happen, that's some money I'm not making. They were really out for a leisurely ride. I'm almost going too fast to keep my sway bar connected. Disconnected, rather. Not that you really need your sway bar disconnected on this road. So I guess I wasn't wrong about this being a nice road for motorcycles. That was the second and third cyclist we've seen. Probably wouldn't be a bad road for a mountain biker either. Don't know that I'd want to go uphill a whole lot with it, but look at that. That is just amazing. This will be another great one for the fall. And got a nice little radio tower there. I see these side trails like the one we just passed on the left, and oftentimes I will take a side trail to see where it goes, but you start getting out in the country like this and in the mountains, you don't know if that's somebody's property up there or not. And down here in the southeast of Georgia and Alabama, man, it's shoot first, ask questions later. And I don't feel like getting a lead injection when I'm just trying to have a leisurely Sunday doing a little jeeping. Now, I've never run into an issue like that. I was at a Jeep Jamboree. I can't remember if it was Gateway to the Cumberlands last year or Land Between the Lakes this year, but they were talking on one trail we did that there was a landowner near there that did come out with a gun because they had, I don't remember the particulars, but we were going through a creek, and I guess he thought we were going through his part of the creek or something, and he wasn't too happy about it. So the year before, he had been out there with a gun and not too happy. So, but thankfully that was a big group of Jeeps. I doubt he would have, anything crazy would have happened with that many Jeeps there. But you're on your own solo. You gotta be mindful of where you go. As long as you stay on the main path, you should be fine. But a lot of these trails, there are private landowners that have offshoots to get to their property, and you don't want to be trespassing on that property down here. So it pretty much looks like this would be a great trail for any stock Jeep, any stock Bronco. Gosh, I mean, anything with just a little bit of clearance would probably be fine. Ran over a couple places that might get a little bit hairy for a non 4x4 vehicle, just from a clearance standpoint. But all in all, I mean, any pickup truck could do this just fine, two-wheel drive. As long as you're paying attention. I mean, you can get yourself into trouble on almost nothing. If you don't know where your differentials are, you're not paying attention to what's sticking up out of the ground. Unless it continues across the highway, which it might. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't really research this. I had before, had seen some videos of other groups doing it. This seems to be kind of a favorite 1-2 punch for the Georgia Jeep lines. So we'll see. looks like it ends and it becomes Horns Valley Road once we hit the highway. Now 600-2 is a little bit away. Probably you're not going to worry about airing the tires up. We'll see. We'll get to the end of this. Pull 600-2 up on the map, just see how far it is, but I only aired down to about 15 psi, so good for a good 10 miles on that without a problem. All right, so we just finished Talladega 600-1, County Road 600-1. It was a fun little trail. Great beginner trail for somebody who just got a Jeep or has never been off-roading. Any stock vehicle can do it. I doubt you'll even need four-wheel drive unless it gets really wet. It's fun, some great scenery. A couple places where you can see right down through the valley. So if you're looking for a Saturday, Sunday ride, I highly recommend 600-1. We're going to go find 600-2 and see what that's like. I'm Uncle Dano, and this is Heretic Off-Road.